Hello, I'm in a familiar location, but this is not the familiar sort of video you're expecting from me. I'll make it brief. This is unscripted, so excuse me. The BBC has been in existence for over 100 years, starting off with radio, branching out into television, and now has a worldwide network including internet, news and all sorts of things like that. During those years, the BBC have accumulated an immense amount of stuff. Everything from radio recordings, television recordings, documents and what you might call ephemera, things, stuff that's been left over from programmes that it thinks worth keeping, and other things to do with the BBC in production and in the running of the BBC that were worth keeping. And these various things are archived in various different places. There's an archive for videotapes and recordings. There's another archive just for documents. It's called the BBC's Written Archive Centre. A little over a year ago, they decided that they would temporarily suspend access because they were doing an audit, and that's entirely reasonable. You can't have people borrowing stuff and coming and looking at random documents while they're trying to audit what they actually own, which is an important thing to do because I've got a suspicion there's a lot of things they've got that aren't catalogued, and there's a few things in the catalogue that have mysteriously gone missing. That was due to be for about a year. I've recently, entirely by accident, found out that they're now making that policy permanent, that they won't let people access the archive like they used to. In days gone by, anybody, you included, could write to the archive or email them and ask them about a programme or something else to do with the BBC, and if that information was in the archive they could look at it and they could give you some information. You could even sometimes get copies of documents to support some non-professional activity, like me. I'm not a professional. This isn't my full-time job, and a lot of people like me do the same sort of thing. They've now decided that the only people who can access the archive will be professional writers, people who've been commissioned to write a book or who are making a television programme about television or something to do with the BBC, and similar types of enterprises. The general public and thousands of non-professional creators like myself, whether they're writing blogs or making videos or something else that's not on a professional basis, no longer have access. They're not going to answer any more queries, and they've quietly sidelined this little change to policy and without very much fanfare. This is going to mean that the resource I've relied on for a lot of my research has now gone, unless they can be persuaded to change their minds. Now, it's not clear how high up the BBC management chain the decision's been made. From what I can gather, it looks like it's a decision made by the Written Archive staff, the management there, rather than higher BBC management. The BBC have a code of practice and core values, and one of their core values is their mission to inform, educate and entertain. It's almost always been one of their core values, with a focus on quality and inclusivity. We're going to lose access to the documents that would have meant that they were fulfilling part of their obligation to entertain and educate. So that avenue of information is now cut off. If you think that's important and you'd like to contact them to let them know how important you think it would be for them to change their policy back to how it used to be, so that at least people like me could access their documents and information, I'd appreciate if you contact them. I'll put the details on the screen and on the end board. Thank you for the time for watching this. I know it's a bit unorthodox, and there's a cup of tea being brewed now, so I'm off.